What is up, my beautiful Maine-iac here, Wednesday, February 13th, NBA game picks and spreads. We are approaching All-Star break with only a day left of action. Well, 2 days left if you include today. One more day after today, and then we get the All-Star World versus the Team USA sophomore rookie game, and we get the All-Star game Sunday with some dunk competition, 3-point shooting, which is always fun competitions to watch sprinkled in between. Anyway, today we have the Nets at the Cavaliers. Brooklyn favored by 8 in this one. I like Jarrett Allen in this one. Don't ask me why in particular. I just get the gut feeling he's going to have a solid game. Gaudy stats? I don't necessarily think so, but I think Brooklyn has enough talent around him, especially with D'Angelo Russell playing as well as he has, to win this game. Brooklyn's favored by 8. I think they should win, and I think they should cover. And you have the Bucks at the Pacers. Interesting game for sure. Bogdanovich and Thaddeus Young have been playing a lot better since Oladipo went out. And by better, I don't necessarily mean shooting better, rebounding better, stuff like that. I mean their points per game have been better, but that's because that's what the Pacers need to stay competitive. Sadly, I still don't think they have exactly what it takes to compete with the Bucks. A win here would put them only 4.5 games behind the, or 3.5 games behind the Bucks, but a loss puts them 5.5. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. I think the Bucks win this one, favored by 4.5. I think is a reasonable spread, especially considering the game is in Indiana. I'm taking the Bucks in this one. I know I want to pick the upset here so bad, but if Oladipo was playing, I probably would. But I can't. Yeah, the Pistons at the Celtics, Boston by 4. No Kyrie in this one, and with the performance that they showed off against the 76ers, has a few people saying that Kyrie's not going to be back with the Celtics. I don't get why. Obviously, whatever he wants to do, he can go do it. It's his choice. He's a man. But it's interesting to see if All-Star break the Celtics can figure out what's been wrong with them. Favored by 4, I think, is a reasonable spread. The Pistons do have a lot of talent, especially big men. And the Celtics struggle with rebounding a lot. I think the Celtics win. I think they still cover this one. Then you got the 76ers at the Knicks. Philadelphia by 9.5. I think after the loss tonight, 76ers come out with a vengeance and stomp the Knicks. I would take them up to a 12.5 point spread in this one, the 76ers that is. So I think they're obviously going to cover the 9.5. It would be interesting, though. And then we have the Wizards at the Raptors. This one's very, very interesting for sure for the fact that Marc Gasol had a very, very strong home debut for the Raptors in their last home game. Toronto favored by 10.5. I don't see how the Wizards have any competition against the big men of the Raptors. Ibaka, Siakam, Leonard, Gasol. It's just the Wizards are done. The only way I see the Wizards winning this one, and I don't want to be rude to any Washington Wizards fan that may be watching this, but I think Beal would have to go off for 50 plus points at least, and that's on like 55-60% shooting at least. I just think the Raptors are too good all around. And you get the Grizzlies at the Bulls. Bulls by 1.5 here. This one's actually very interesting. The spread favors the Bulls here, and the matchup predictor favors the Grizzlies. And looking at the injuries, saying Chandler Parsons, Anderson, and Valanciunas are going to be out. We shall see, though. I'm still picking the Grizzlies here. The spread might favor the Bulls, but I'm picking the Grizzlies. I'm not saying the Bulls can't do it. I think it's going to be a very close game. I honestly think it's going to be a one-basket game at the end of the day, a one-score game. Should be good. Then you get the Rockets at Timberwolves, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Houston's favored by 4. I think James Harden continues his streak, and the only way you're possibly going to end it is if you put Karl Anthony Towns on Kenneth Faried. And what I mean by that is Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to be able to box out Faried, limit Faried's rebounding. His rebounding and paint presence has helped the Rockets tremendously. So if Minnesota can limit that somehow, but I think a matchup of, like I said, Towns on Faried would be probably one of the best ways to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to stop James Harden. And I don't think they do. I think the Rockets win. I think they cover. I think this game will be within 10 points for most of the game, but I think the Timberwolves just fall off at the end. Should be interesting. And then you have the Heat at the Mavericks. Mavericks by 3. I think they win and cover as well. At home, I think the Mavericks are a much better team than they are on the road. Also, I love Doncic in this matchup. Not saying the Heat can't do it. With respect to the Heat, they got a lot of good talent on that team. Josh Richardson should have a good game in this one. Justice Winslow, I am not quite sure if he'll have a good game or not. I get the feeling that he's gonna have an up and down game, and I don't like that feeling. Anyway, Mavericks, I think they win. It's interesting too because this game represents two players who are like honorary members of the All-Star team with Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade in their last season. So it's kind of cool having a game like that right before All-Star break. They get the Kings at the Nuggets. This game is up here for one reason and one reason only. Actually, no, I'm not kidding. This is probably the best matchup of the night. We have the Nuggets, who probably overwhelming favorites. The spread says so. They're favored by 7.5, which is reasonable as well. Jokic is a dominant center, and I don't think the Kings necessarily have an answer for him. But I also think the Kings have been playing a lot better basketball since they acquired Harrison and Barnes, which I think, like I said before, and I said before the trade deadline, that there were some trades I thought the Kings could make to get another star player. And although Harrison Barnes isn't a superstar, I think that extra presence is enough. But that's not why this game is up here. It's not because of Buddy Hield or the incredibly underrated Jamal Murray. It's not because of Nemanja Bjelica or Paul Millsap. It's because of somebody who is dear to my heart as a sports fan, who is making his season debut tonight. Isaiah Thomas is making his debut for the Nuggets, and the reason why I'm making a big deal out of that is because I still remember when he played for the Celtics. He came over to the. I remember when he came over to the Celtics. Nobody was really expecting too much. Rondo had just left, and well, not just left, but Rondo was gone, and everyone was like, "Well, Isaiah Thomas is here," and he started playing, really well. Started getting better, almost game by game. He started getting just a little bit better. And then that season where he got legit MVP consideration, and what happened with his sister, and the emotion in the playoffs. I I don't necessarily miss him in Boston. I wish him the best in Denver or wherever he plays. But it's awesome to see him get back into basketball. It's the same way with either Gordon Hayward, who got hurt, Paul George when he broke his leg playing for Team USA. Whenever a star goes down and they get a chance to come back, whenever they come back, it tends to be a little bit emotional. I was hoping to kind of have a reaction like that when Chris Bosh came back. Sadly, he never did. Anyway, I'm picking the Nuggets to win this one and to cover, mainly because I do not think the Kings necessarily have enough of an answer for Jokic with his rebounding skills, his passing skills, his scoring skill overall. I think he's too much of an issue for the Kings defensively. Honestly, if I was the Kings, I would go bold here. I would go very bold. Obviously, you have incredible young players with Buddy Hield, and Fox, but that's not the issue here. Who do you put on Jokic defensively to contain his movement, his ball movement, his whatever you want to call it, to wear him down? Also, you could say as well. Honestly, bold decision here. I would put Harrison Barnes on Jokic. Yes, Harrison Barnes does not necessarily have the length, but Harrison Barnes was not a terrible defender when he was in Golden State, so that would be fun to watch. Then we get the Warriors at the Trailblazers. Speaking of Golden State, Warriors 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, favored by 3 over the Trailblazers. Respectable spread, but I don't necessarily see the Warriors losing this one. Damian Lillard tends to have beast games again. Damian Lillard tends to have beast games against the Warriors, and it should be very interesting to see what he does. DeMarcus Cousins appears to be out for this one. Do I think it makes too much of a difference? No, but I do respect a 3-point spread. I do think there's something right there. I think it will be close. But with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, can't pick the Trailblazers in good faith. Then the Suns at the Clippers. Clippers by 8.5 in this one. This one should be very interesting. It says apparently that the Suns have absolutely no chance of winning, and that is very, very interesting to me. The fact that it says the Suns have no chance of winning. But, you know what? When I pick things, if you have been around the channel long enough, or if not, I recommend you go back to some of my past records. And almost every day when I used to do the NBA, I'd pick at least one upset. That's mainly when there's like more than 3 or 4 games. I'd pick an upset. Anyway, I want to pick an upset. I'm picking the Suns to beat the Clippers. I think the Clippers get clipped by the blazing glory of the sun. Praise the sun, Solaris finest. Um, anyway, I'm going to pick the Suns in this one. I like Booker. I like Ayton. If Ayton is back to 100%, he's not on the injury report, so I believe he's at least close to 100%. I like the Suns in this matchup. I do think the Clippers are still struggling since the Tobias Harris trade and the Boban trade. I don't think they still have enough there currently. I think after the All-Star break, they should be fine. If this game was right after the All-Star break, I'd probably pick the Clippers. But something's telling me, pick the Suns. You're probably going to regret it. But you know what? You'd probably regret it more if you didn't. Anyway, picking the Suns. Hope you guys have a good day. I will see you in the next one, you lovely people. Peace.